Guys, what's the craic? Belfast Boxing and Blues. Boxing and Blues. Shooting on my new phone, so we've got some extra high quality stuff. Yeah. Probably should have adjusted my hat before I come on here, but yeah. We're all sweet, aren't we? Yes, guys. We're just gonna do a quick roundup of the boxing news, courtesy of Boxing Scene. There seems to be stuff going on here, Canelo-Munguia, Liam Davis is in there. You got Dylan Whyte's got something to say. Pitbull Cruz, obviously he's fighting Rolly Romero. Christian Mbili, he's looking for 2 big fights this year. So, brief overview before we dive in. Now, let's see if we can just center this a bit more because we're very over to that side. Yeah, oh, there we go. Let's try it that way. It's a little bit better, isn't it? Yes, so the new phone, the quality looks to be a whole lot better, which is, stepping up. Right, so straight off the bat, now, I have to light the cigarette. Straight off the bat, we got Chris Algieri's school of thought. If it can't be Benavidez, then Munguia is the best opponent for Canelo. I was watching Benavidez Andrade last night. I used to say Andrade, and then I heard it was Andrade. So anyway, these guys were bopping away and having a wee go back and forth. Benavidez looked good. I think I preferred personally to watch the younger Benavidez when he threw a whole lot more combinations. Whereas now he's a bit more throws single shots, but he places them really well, and there's a lot of weight. He sometimes even jumps into a hook like that, or an uppercut like that, and yeah, I mean he's still quite pleasing to watch. I did love that early style where he was throwing 6, 7, 8 punch combinations, I suppose against the lower level opponents, he could get away with that. He could get away with that a little more, But Andrade fought well. He was the guy that was throwing the combinations. And he had a lot of success through the first few rounds, I felt. But it was more in spots, he would have the flashier work, but it wasn't consistent enough, really. And I think it was after the 5th round he had enough and he quit on his stool. So whether there was an injury there or something else as well, God knows. I was watching it with the sound off anyway, so whatever the guys were saying, I was missing out on that. But let's see. Okay, Chris Algieri, what's going on? Before assessing Saul Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia, it's important to recognise that David Benavidez is the fighter who most deserved the opportunity Munguia has been presented with. That's one of the fights the world most deserves. So much it'd be a shame if it doesn't materialise in the near future. I was thinking, obviously, Benavidez has fought and beaten Caleb Plant, David Lemieux, which was a good performance. I think we got to see more of the old Benavidez there, the younger Benavidez, against Lemieux, who's a little more limited maybe, and probably down to his age as well. He's, obviously on the tail end of his career. Lemieux was a good fighter in his day, good hooker. He was good to watch, I thought. Right, what else does this guy got going on? But yes, the thought that I had was, what if they're saving the Benavidez fight, right, for the last fight of Canelo's career? If he chooses to go out soon after 2 or 3 more, it could be the passing of the torch, from the Mexican great of our era to Benavidez, who could be the next Mexican great, the next one to go down in history, Maybe that's just wishful thinking. But anyway, back to the article. But as an alternative to that, Canelo-Munguia is a fight I really like. It can be expected to be fun. Munguia's entire career has been building towards it. He's also continuing to improve, as he showed in January against John Ryder. He's young, he throws lots of punches. His progress under Freddie Roach has also been encouraging, not least because Roach is an attack-minded coach, which complements Munguia's aggressive instincts. Munguia's right hand particularly showed improvement against Ryder, which is something we've previously seen with Roach and Manny Pacquiao. Nice one. So obviously Roach knows what he's doing. Like Freddie Roach is, he's got the CV, you know. We don't need to question his abilities, but that's a nice little insight there. You know, he's worked specifically on his right hand. Canelo has never had a high punch output, but his work rate is subtly decreasing. At 33, he's picking his moments more and resting more, which isn't uncommon among aging fighters. That, combined with Munguia's aggression, makes theirs an appealing matchup. Now, obviously, Munguia's Mexican as well. I think so, yeah. As far as I know, let's just go with that. Yeah, he's Mexican as well, isn't he? He is though, isn't he? So like, it's kind of hard to say after the Charlo fight. The way that went down, it's like Charlo was a really good fighter up until that point, you know. And for some reason he struggled with Canelo, you know, and he lost the fight. You know, Canelo won the fight 100%, no question, you know, but it wasn't, you know, vintage Jermell Charlo that we seen that night. So it'll be interesting to see with what we've seen of Munguia, you know, in the fights that he shined. I know that against Derevyanchenko, he had a couple of dicey moments, but in the fights that he's really shown, you know, and against Canelo, that caliber of opponent, you know, how will his output and skill level, how will that look in that context, you know what I mean? Canelo fought and struggled to stop Ryder a little over 6 months before Munguia actually did stop him, but there's no reason that should be seen as significant. Canelo looked fantastic for the first half of that fight, but doesn't have the engine he did when he was younger. And Ryder gave it everything that night and left the best of himself in the ring, making him a kinder opponent for Munguia, particularly after the payday he earned against Canelo. I think Munguia had him down like 4 times in that fight. I watched a good portion of it. Like, I was the first to see him. Munguia, he really looks to be a good fighter. Like, a stylish kind of guy. Canelo was still with Golden Boy Promotions when they first started promoting Munguia, and even back then, it looked like they could be on course for a fight in the future. This looks the dream fight for the younger fighter and his team. If it doesn't seem personal between the two fighters, it does seem personal between Canelo and Golden Boy, or more specifically, Oscar De La Hoya. Sometimes De La Hoya forgets he's a promoter and returns to being a competitor. Once a fighter, always a fighter. And it often looks like it troubles him to see Canelo having the success he once had. The tension between them is one of the narratives that intrigues. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, isn't it? And of course there has been, you know, documented tension between De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia as well. So, although they seem to have ironed that out, you know, from you know, it looks that way. There was a lot of speculation about Canelo leaving Premier Boxing Champions, but it doesn't surprise me that he's fighting under them for this fight. It wouldn't have made any sense in the context of the ambitions of PBC, Al Heyman, and Amazon Prime to lose him. It was probably promoting Canelo that helped them get the agreement they have with Amazon in the first place. You know, it's interesting that all came out. Canelo was thinking of moving on, and it's like, well, you've only fought how many fights with us? You know what I mean? We had a whole deal here. Eddie Hearn was right in there, like he was right in there praising Canelo after the Berlanga fight. If, as I expect, Canelo beats Munguia on May 4th, I expect him to fight and beat Edgar Berlanga in September and again get handsomely paid. I hope he'll then close out his career like a true Mexican warrior in the biggest money fight available to him against Benavidez. But I'm struggling to be optimistic that he will. Terence Crawford was the 4th opponent he was regularly linked with. Crawford is the best fighter in the world today, but I don't think any true followers of boxing wanted to see them fight. It may have been a commercial success, but like Canelo recognises the size difference between them, means he's supposed to beat Crawford, and if he loses, it tarnishes his legacy. Weight classes exist for a reason and ought to be respected. Okay. Never mind Canelo jumping up to light heavyweight to beat Kovalev for a belt. Yeah. Okay. We're entering a crucial period for Golden Boy. Munguia is one of their greatest assets. Ryan Garcia is even more valuable. And 2 weeks earlier, will fight Devin Haney. Oh, we've got a nice lineup. We've got a good lineup coming up, guys. More or less every week there's going to be a really big fight. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. Both are expected to lose, which makes the wider picture risky for Golden Boy. But if one of them were to win, it would be massive for them. So what's going on there? They're in the business then of providing opponents. But these are two of their star fighters, two of their bigger names. But of course they must recognise, the landscape, how it lies. And they've got to play that game. You know what I mean? It's hard to see Garcia beating Haney, especially with the way that he's looked lately on social media and stuff. I don't think it's out of the question if he gets himself in shape and he gets his head right on time. At the very least, I hope we'll get a really good fight. And as for Munguia beating Canelo, it's kind of hard to see anybody beating Canelo at super middleweight. Munguia hasn't had the career that Canelo's had, obviously, the experience that he's had. Nah, it's just not going to happen, is it? It just doesn't seem likely, does it? Right, where are we? Regardless, it is early enough in Munguia's career that he can recover from defeat and become a moneymaker in the future, particularly through working under Roach, which in America has enhanced his star power. If Haney Garcia happens when it's scheduled to and Garcia loses, he will continue to be a draw. He's been a draw without being a world champion, including with casual followers of boxing, and will continue to attract a wide audience. Algieri's quite sensible, isn't he? He says what we all know, but he puts it. He's almost like a lawyer. He's almost speaking in legalese here. He knows how to put it across without leaving himself accountable in any way for having slipped up and said something wrong. You know what I mean? He's just a pro, man. He's just a pro. But it's difficult to see that fight happening. Oh wait, it's the last paragraph. We'll finish it out. It's difficult to see that fight happening. It's not that I don't believe Garcia wants the fight. I do, but his behaviour makes me concerned for his well-being. I hope those around him are aware of his mental state. I don't believe he's simply selling the fight because so close to their scheduled fight night, he seems beyond distracted and lacking in focus. Aside from the fight lacking competitiveness and entertainment value, an ill-prepared Garcia going into a fight at this level can be very dangerous. His health is far more of a concern and should be far more of a priority than the status of his next fight. That's quite a sobering note to end the article on. Yeah. Obviously, Algieri's a man of principle and integrity. I think a lot of people in boxing are, so the concern is there for sure, and it's so easy to get swept up in the media storm, and it's all gossip, and you know what I mean. It's easy to laugh at it and stuff because there are so many things that are just outrageous about everything that's going on with Ryan Garcia, but when you remove all that, you've got a 25-year-old kid, really, who seems to be in some trouble. And, from somebody that has publicly come out and confessed that he has mental health troubles and stuff in the past, to be going into that kind of a situation is maybe not in his best interests. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Lovely article from Chris Algieri. There's a few comments from the comments people. Jimmy Joe Flint, ready to drill, sought after. Campbell, Hatton. Right, so let's check it out. Let's have a wee look at this, guys. How many minutes are we on? 15 minutes. Don't want to go on all day long here, but we have to try and cover the whole thing, don't we? Jimmy Joe Flint, that's some name, believes that fans could be in for a barnstormer when he defends his Central Area Super Lightweight title against Campbell Hatton. So this would be Campbell Hatton's first title. And you know what? It's quite a realistic sort of starting point for him as far as picking up a belt, you know, for the level that he's at. And it's good that they have come down from that, oh, well, we're going to use his name to help promote certain cards by having him right up top on the cards, which is completely understandable, you know, and I'm sure he stood to benefit from that, money-wise and all the rest. But now if he's, you know, realistically weighing up his skills and what he has to offer, and also, you know, assessing his own ambitions as a boxer and as a fighter, well then this seems like a good direction for him to go on. They will meet in Sheffield in the undercard of Dalton Smith's intriguing 140-pound fight with Californian puncher Jose Zepeda. But Flint believes that his fight, let me see, what's his record? 13-1-2. 2 draws, 3 KOs. Believes that his fight with Hatton, 14-0, 5 KOs, could steal the show. Neither of them's massive punchers. Yeah. After 14 fights learning his trade, the unbeaten Hatton's first title opportunity comes against a hungry, determined fighter who has already battled hardened at area level. This could be a tough fight for him, you know, if this is a guy who's fighting at that level, but he's not really in this to muck about. But in 2021, the 26-year-old Flint lost a 10-round decision to Dom Hunt for the welterweight title, but he has enjoyed much more success in strapping down to 140 pounds. He claimed the super lightweight belt by stopping Joe Garside in the 10th and final round of an exciting battle, and last October retained his title after grinding out a thrilling draw with the talented Adam Sircar. The Monday after the war with Sircar, Flint's manager Steffi Bull. Some of these names, you know, it's all a bit different when you're down at area level, isn't it? It's a different vibe altogether. Told boxing saying that he was going to make sure his man's name was in the hat for a fight with Hatton. And after spending a couple of months campaigning and politicking, they got the call they wanted. We're not gonna need a very big ring to fight each other, given how we both fight. Flint told boxing now, it's a great fight for both of us. If I beat him, it opens up many doors and I can really push on. Likewise, for him, if he beats me, I'm not a sore loser. I'll shake his hand and it can open up bigger doors for him as well. It's one of those fights. It'll certainly deliver for the fans. It's the fight we both need. He needs to push on and I need it to open doors for me. It's a must win both ways. Thankfully, they're giving me the opportunity and we'll see where we go from here. It could be a barnstormer. Styles make fights and we're not two worlds apart in style. We both like to dig deep and have a go. There you are, Jimmy Joe Flint. It's gonna do the stuff. Sebastian Fundora, I'm unstoppable. Heading into Serhii Bohakachuk fight. He is a tall guy, man. Sebastian Fundora. What is he, like 6'2"? I was bound to say here somewhere, like the towering inferno. Sebastian Fundora promises to reignite his flame when he steps back into the ring for a firefight against Serhii Bohakachuk. Who's writing this article? This is funny. Manowak Akapian. So, right, what's going on here? Fundora, 21-1 with 13 KOs, was on the wrong end of a 2023 knockout of the year in which Brian Mendoza shocked him in the 7th round of a fight Fundora was comfortably winning via near shutout. Bohakachuk, 23-1 with 23 KOs, is all too familiar with the scenario, having fallen to a similar fate. His long professional loss came to Brandon Adams via 8th round TKO in a fight he was leading across the cards. Both boxers now have an opportunity for a big breakthrough, each against the other. This fight means everything to my career. Fundora, 26, told boxing scene, this is my first real world title fight. I'm excited to showcase my talents. I think it's going to be a great action-packed fight. I think I can beat anybody in the division at this rate. At the rate that we've been working, I think that I am unstoppable. It's not new confidence. I've always had this confidence. I'm 100% focused now. At 6'6", Fundora will have a 6-inch. 6'6"? What weight is this guy fighting at? What? What is going on? Super welterweight. 6'6". This guy is fucking hell. He is a big, big guy. And 7-inch reach advantage over Bohachuk, 28. Now that former undisputed super welterweight champion Jamel Charlo is no longer ruling the division, Fundora plans to make his mark before moving up to middleweight. I'm 26 years old, he says. I'm growing. I'm getting a little heavier, but as of right now, I am still feeling comfortable. Fundora and Bohachuk will take place on the undercard of WBO super welterweight champion Tim Tszyu's non-title tilt. This guy, whoever wrote this article, is all up in it, man. Non-title tilt against Keith Thurman at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas on Amazon pay-per-view. Right, okay, yeah, we get the idea, don't we? So who else is doing stuff here? Taylor relishing additional time to prepare for a rematch with Catterall. I'm sure he is. Josh Taylor expects the postponement of his fight with Jack Catterall to be to his advantage. Their date of April 27th at Leeds' first direct arena has been moved to May 25th to give him additional time to recover from the squint surgery he had in February, but he is relishing the prospect of additional time to prepare for the rematch with his greatest rival. Taylor was awarded a controversial decision over Catterall in February 2022 when he therefore retained his undisputed super lightweight title, and the rematch scheduled for March 2023 was cancelled when he suffered a torn plantar fascia, whatever that is. The 33-year-old has been expected to push to fight at welterweight instead of remain at super lightweight. But if fears had existed about his ability to again make 140 pounds, he has an additional month to do so and to perfect his preparations for what represents his second fight under his trainer, Joe McNally. I'm still training full steam ahead, the Scot said. I'm just not sparring for the time being. It just gives us more time, especially when you've not been able to spar. It's good. It gives me more time to get in better shape, and it's delaying the beatdown I'm going to give him. It's good. It's all good. We've got plenty of good sparring partners already lined up. Catterall 30 last fought in October when he outpointed Jorge Linares. Taylor was outpointed by Teofimo Lopez in June, sacrificing his WBO title and ensuring that the grudge match with Catterall is a non-title contest. That's probably a bitter pill for Catterall to swallow, seeing that in a lot of people's eyes he should have been undisputed. Now there's not even one title on the fucking line here. Pardon my French. We got a date done nicely and swiftly rescheduled nice and quickly for the 25th of May. He continued. It's only 4 weeks. It's only 4 weeks. It's not as if it's 2 months or 4 months. It's only 4 weeks. It's an inconvenience, but we got to listen to the medical professionals, especially when it's something as precious as your eyesight. It is what it is. It's not an actual injury. It's just the pressure behind my eyes was way too high, so the doctors recommend put a halt for a couple of weeks and come back to normal. Fucking perfect. It was a little procedure I had in my eye, a squint procedure. Everything went well. It's good. It's just the healing process. The pressure to come back down to normal pressure, really. I've been meaning to get this procedure done for a little while, and I managed to get in the beginning, of February. I got it done nice and quickly, and it went well. It's just a case of the pressure behind my eyes coming down now. I have never in my life, I'm not a fucking optician, but I've never heard of anybody complaining of the pressure behind their eyes. But, you know what I mean? I'm not an optician. It initially came down nice and quick. My first consultation afterwards, it says, the pressure's coming down nicely. And the second one I went to, they said, it's coming down even more. And then I went to the final one and it became, your eye pressure's come back up a little bit. You've had a slight regression in your recovery. So we're therefore recommending you put your fight back a little bit. It's fixing the muscles in the eyes, moving the muscles a little bit. Yeah, just, what is a leg day? No, I'm on eye day today. I'm just working on my eyes here. Just getting the fucking muscles around the eyes all hooked up, you know. Sorry for the inconvenience to anybody who's booked hotels and travel and all that. Apologies on my behalf. Right, fair enough. Josh Taylor. Yeah, it'll be an interesting fight to see how that goes. Does Taylor have one last good performance in him at junior welterweight? Can he get himself prepared correctly, mind, body, and soul, and fucking do the stuff against Catterall? Can he do it? Because you know Catterall is going to be completely prepared. He's not going to be affected by any of Josh Taylor's mind games. You know, at the moment at the press conferences, sometimes he might look a little bit like he's getting the worst of it. But obviously, when he turned up on fight night, he was so well prepared mentally. He went right at him. So we know he's going to be prepared, you know. But the best Josh Taylor beats him. Whether the best Josh Taylor exists at 140 pounds or even at 147 remains to be seen. But I'm a Josh Taylor fan, so I hope he does the business on him. TV picks of the week. Oh, we got some women's action here. We got some female fighting action. Dalton Smith, Sheffield fighter. Yeah, let's see. What to watch? When to watch? You know, what is right? Dalton Smith is the rising junior welterweight prospect on the verge of being considered a contender, stepping up against an opponent whose experience and accomplishments far surpass anything else. The 27-year-old from Sheffield, UK, has faced to date. That opponent is Jose Zepeda, a former contender who's been in 3 title fights and been in a Fight of the Year award winner, but is now at 34 years old, facing the possibility of the window closing shut in his career. So Dalton Smith, you know, a guy who's on the up, a prospect, one of the more prominent prospects in British boxing at the minute, because we don't have loads of them. Well, we do have, you know, the younger crop, your Ben Whitakers and all of those, the Azims and stuff, or the Azizes. We have all of those guys coming through, but the ones that are a little bit older, there was sort of like almost like a gap there where there wasn't much happening, and Dalton Smith, I suppose, would fall into that gap. Maybe not. That's how it seems to me. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment and tell me I'm wrong, and I will go away and rethink my life. So, like, what is the guy at? They've brought him in, this Jose Zepeda, who's like, this is the sort of opponent that they want to bring you along on, you know what I mean? Somebody who's been there and done it to an extent. He's had 3 world title fights, you know what I mean? And he's, I won't say on his last legs, but he's at the tail end of his career. So it's the perfect guy for a nice test, you know, because obviously they're a good fighter. They have the experience, they have the skills, they have all that stuff, and it'll be a good name on your record. But they're getting a little bit older, so you know what I mean. You would expect the youth to win through, and hopefully that Dalton Smith would learn a few things while he's in there with him. You know, probably the guy has a few crafty veteran little tricks and things, and Dalton Smith, if and when he prevails, will take a lot from that fight. Let's scroll down to the ladies. I haven't brand checked. This guy's fought a lot of guys. Yeah, he's a pro guy. That's a pedo. Yeah, mind him now. Smith, of course, will have his own say in the matter. A victory will propel him into more opportunities at 140 pounds. Whether a clash with fellow unbeaten prospect Adam Azim is in the cards for the near future remains to be seen. The undercard also features a title fight between Sandy Ryan and Terry Harper. Let's see, where are we? Women's welterweight belt. I know. Well, they're fighting a couple of good names, so it should be good. It should be good to see. Just a nice wee standout women's fight to check out, and if you're not mad, like I'm not mad into the women's boxing, I don't know all the fighters and I'm not always checking it out and stuff like that, but I'll always watch the big fights. So if you're anything like that, it's nice just to watch the big fights and, you hear the talk and then, of course, you pick up about this fighter and that fighter. And you just get just enough so you have an idea of what's going on. Liam Davies. Right, we'll finish on this, guys, because we're coming up to the half an hour mark, and who has half an hour to watch these? Nobody apparently. But you know what? Now that I've got my new phone and I can load it onto the laptop and get a program and cut it up and stuff, I don't know if I can even be bothered doing that. You know what I mean? Like, or I don't even know if I can be bothered promoting myself to try and get more than 22 subscribers. But we will see what happens there. It's early days. And I will talk a little bit before this, obviously St. Patrick's Day yesterday, so sort of like a St. Paddy's weekend, St. Paddy's week nearly. Here in Ireland, in Northern Ireland and Belfast, and it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. So I was out of a few nights for a nice wee sober hangout, and check out some music and stuff. And it's very interesting actually to be sober on St. Patrick's Day, because everybody else is blocked and the streets are just clogged with drunken people who've been drinking from like 10 o'clock in the morning. You can just survey it all, with a nice clear head and see what's going on, and be grateful that you're not be waking up with a hangover. And I went out with a friend on Saturday night, and he's very interested in doing podcasts and different bits and pieces. And there are, once people see you doing this stuff, there are people that want to kind of offer help and stuff, and you can be wary because you think, oh, what you could trying to take the thing over, you know what I mean? But like, one person can only do so much, you know what I mean? I can come on here and talk and stuff, but I'm not really an expert in videography. I need to get a logo and all of this stuff, and that'll all come, you know what I mean? And I'm the sort of person that I would just, if I talk about it occasionally, hopefully it'll fall into my lap, which it seems to work like that sometimes, but of course you have to be proactive too. And yeah, bit by bit, I'm not desperate for, like, I need thousands of people to subscribe and stuff like that. Not just yet, anyway. I just let it go naturally because I've got other things going on, you know what I mean? What I do like doing this as well, so. And I think the point where I'd like to get it to is where it can be a good resource for other people, where people come to watch this channel if we're doing some interviews at local gyms and stuff like that, which is something we'll be looking at in the near future. The same with musicians as well. I more or less interviewed a musician at a gig on Saturday, and we didn't use a camera, but those skills and stuff sort of come when you're doing this sort of thing. So those are different things that we can look at. But anyway, that's way off topic. Let's talk to Dillian Whyte here. I'm running out of time, admits Dillian Whyte, hoping for a busy 2024. There he is in his big coat. Heavyweight Dillian Whyte returned to the ring for the first time since his narrow win over Jermaine Franklin in November 2022. So he was out for, what's that, like a year and a half nearly, to stop Christian Hammer after 3 rounds in Castlebar, Ireland on Sunday night. Whyte is now 30-3 with 20 KOs, while German Hammer dropped to 27-11 with 17 KOs, and Whyte was relieved to get back into action following his spell on the sidelines owing to an adverse finding in a doping test leading up to his slated rematch with Anthony Joshua last August. Yeah, must have been a kick in the privates. But he's back in action now, so a nice little fight for him to start back in with, and he's won the fight. Hammer started aggressively, but Whyte soon had the upper hand. He just quit, but what can I do, said Whyte. I've been through a lot of hell and a lot of darkness, so I had a lot of pent-up frustration and aggression, and it's funny because the camp was calm. Everything was calm, and it had to come out at some point. That's my nature, Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't wish that on anybody, would you? Like, regardless of whether he was caught doing something he should have been doing or not, you sort of have to pay for what you've done, don't you? But it's not nice coming through those periods of darkness and frustration, and yeah, it's hard, it's difficult, you know. So it's good to see he's come out the other end of it. Talking to Boxing Social after the bout, Whyte added, "It's good to be back out and it's good to get back to work. Obviously, Hammer came out swinging and then the pit bull and me just bit back. Then I was rushing and making stupid mistakes, but whatever." Whyte said he was hoping to fight as many as 4 times in 2024 and was open to boxing in Saudi Arabia and to the Joshua rematch and a fight with Joe Joyce, who mentioned Whyte's name after stopping Cash Ali. That's a good matchup. It's a good matchup for the both of them, isn't it? I'd probably pick Whyte to beat him. I think most of us would, wouldn't we, after seeing how Joyce has looked lately. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Whyte is licensed by the Texas Commission, and last night's show was handled by the Boxing Union of Ireland. Oh, right, this is all making sense now. Okay, this is why he's boxing in Ireland. Whyte is not licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control, but he does not mind where he boxes in the future. Well, that's handy. "I don't know and I don't care wherever the fight is," he replied. Obviously, he'll be boxed out a little bit, no pun intended, but it'll be like, there's only certain things he can do now, you know what I mean, until he gets cleared by the British Boxing Board of Control. You know, he can only operate in a certain way, and he sort of has to just take whatever scraps come his way in terms of fights and stuff like this. You know what I mean? He fought in an untelevised card in Castle Bar, of all places in Ireland, like, and he's with the Texas, you know, the Texas Commission is who he's backed by. So it's quite weird. I mean, we have seen the same with Conor Benn having been forced to fight in the States, because obviously his following is here, like, in the UK, you know. So, you know, they've done their best with it, but it's obvious to see that he's a little bit limited in what he can do. Well, hopefully the both of them will get back to being able to do whatever they can, because it seems that they've had enough time out, you know what I mean. They've paid their dues, paid up all their dues. Whenever I can be busy, then I'll go there and fight. I'm running out of time. I'm not getting any younger. I don't know what's next. I just want to fight. Let's see what happens. The 35-year-old Brixton man wants another 7 or 8 fights and said he would have 3 or 4 weeks at home before getting back to work with trainer Buddy McGirt and preparing to box again. Asked about whether he felt promoters and people in boxing had stuck by him, Whyte replied, "It's a game. I've got 14 dogs. That's where I expect my loyalty from. My dogs are the only things that's loyal to me in this life." You know, it's kind of interesting, that, isn't it? Because whenever the trouble came up with the PEDS thing, the performance enhancing drugs with Dillian Whyte, Eddie Hearn, I don't promote Dillian Whyte. Yeah. You know, but he was obviously happy to promote him for a lot of fights previous to that. You know, but you can't. I mean, Hearn's got to do what Hearn's got to do in that situation as well, like, you know, and it's boxing. You know, it's not it's not the nicest business in the world. Like, it is what it is. Then asked specifically about Joshua, and anyone else he might like to fight, Whyte said, "Anyone. I've never turned a fight down. Whoever wants it could get it." There you are. I imagine he went through a bit of, you know what I mean, after everything he'd done, you know what I mean, and they were using his name to promote pay-per-views and stuff. And when the shit hit the fan, I was like, you're on your own now, man. I like Dillian Whyte. I think he'll come back. Isaac Pitbull Cruz might be best known for his close fight with Gervonta Davis, but that doesn't mean he's going out of his way to advocate for that fight in the prelude to his March 30th WBA title fight. Cruz fights WBA junior welterweight world champion Rolando Romero, and About the Serves was the co-feature for Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu on American Prime pay-per-view. The bout also signifies something significant for Cruz, the chance to win his first world title, despite Cruz making a deep connection with fight fans. He is yet to hoist a world title above his shoulders or place one around his waist. I'm just going to focus on taking care of business on March 30th. Where's the crack, Cruz? I am focused on winning the fight, shining in my own career, and then whatever happens next, I know God will take care of putting what is meant to be in my path. Cruz holds a record of 25-2-1, 17 KOs. Romero the champion. Jesus, how did that happen? It's 15-1 with 13 KOs. Yeah. That'll be an interesting fight. I seen an interview with Rolly Romero where he was like just being really chilled out and really dead on. Which is much different from what you would see of him in press conferences and stuff where he's talking all the smack of the day. Like, he was just being sound as anything, very chill. But he did say he rose up a bit through the interview and he started talking a bit of smack. And he said, my job in boxing is to bring more eyes to the lightweight division. Don't know what you think about that. But anyway, guys, that's the roundup. There's 41 minutes. 41 minutes. What are you going to do for 41 minutes? Anything you like. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. 41 minutes. Dudes, have a nice day. Belfast Boxing and Blaze. I'd like to see you later and all that there. Bye bye.